welcome back. So we are going to do SQL. This is going to be my first time to do SQL. It's part of the, I think, kind of like a programming language. My it's not my intuition is not going to be really like a programming language as per se like a Python or Basic or Fortran or C++. It's more like a high level, more like could be like Microsoft Excel macro. If you ever use the Microsoft Excel or Microsoft Word, there's a macro um, language that you can use. Okay, anyway, so here we go. Um, so it stands for Structured Query Language. Basically, is a language to cure for query purposes, and it's only used for databases. Okay, so it's an important skill for. Oops, what did I do? I just pressed something. Um, okay. You will build SQL skills using BigQuery, a web service that lets you apply SQL to huge data set. Okay. In this lesson, you'll learn the basic of assessing and examining BigQuery datasets. After you have a handle on these basics, you'll come back to build your SQL skills. So to use BigQuery, you'll import a Python package. Okay, from Google Cloud, import BigQuery, import that. And then the first step in the workflow is um, to create client object. As you'll soon see, this client object will play central role in retrieving information from BigQuery datasets. Okay, so you want to create a client object. So there's a this is the database. You can see some of the data from here. There's there's comments, there's full and then full 2015, and then there's stories. Okay, so we're just gonna close this first. Oh, how do I close this? Just close it. Okay. Okay, so we already um, create a client object by using big query dot client in parentheses, and then we'll work on the dataset post on the Hacker News. So Hacker News is a website for on computer science news for computer science cybersecurity news. Uh, BigQuery its dataset is contained in corresponding project. In this case, our Hacker News dataset is contained in a BigQuery public data project to assess the dataset. We begin by constructing a reference to the dataset with the dataset method. Next, we use the get dataset method along with the reference we just constructed to fetch the dataset. Okay, so we're now constructing a reference to the Hacker News. So you said client.dataset. Um, so we already created the client as an object, right? Over here, right? And then now we're using that object um, to open or to uh, activate this dataset um, um, kind of library, right, or method, right? So because if you're familiar with the object-oriented programming, every object has a method. Object, think of an object in the real world like a, like a person or object trees, or any object like appliances or cars. So every object, like for example cars, they have their own kind of characters or behavior, and they have their own kind of things that they can do, an action that they can do. So an action that they can do is called a method, right? In the object-oriented programming language. So this one can do a data set method. And then you put the parameters. The parameters is a hacker news, which is from there, and then the project is a BigQuery public data. So yeah, so you're basically putting the inside of the BigQuery public data set um, inside that are inside the Hacker News um, into this dataset reference. And then after that, you are um, trying to create an API request to fetch the dataset. Okay, so you can just run this. So if you just, let's say, see what it is, dataset reference, I want to see what it is. So this one points to the BigQuery public data, and which is inside the Hacker News, right? And let's see what's data set. It's kind of like a pointer. The data set is like an API that are pointing to that BigQuery public data Hacker News, right? So if you look at the Hacker News, and then if you look at the project, um, um, probably dataset client is, I think it's trying to get the data from one of the column here. So, hmm, okay. Anyway, we'll continue first. I think it's gonna get clear afterwards. So this is the way I think about this is like a pointer inside the data here, right? Okay. So now every data set is just a collection of tables. Okay. You can think of a data set as a spreadsheet file containing multiple tables, all composed of rows and columns. Rows, the one horizontal, and columns, the one vertical. We use list table method to list the tables in the dataset. So, for example, client dot list tables dataset, which is the dataset, is actually pointing to the this guy, right? BigQuery dataset reference is an API request, okay, because it's trying to fetch the dataset, and then this one is basically trying to list it, trying to display it. Okay, so okay, we'll display it here. There you go. So print table dot table ID, comment full. Okay. How about if you just print table, let's say. Okay. Hmm. Or print tables. Okay. Interesting. Okay. Similar at how we fetch a data set, we can fetch a table. In the code cell below, we fetch the full table in the Hacker News dataset. So, okay, construct a reference to the full table. So the dataset reference dot table full API requires client dot get table. Hmm. Okay. That's, in the next section, you'll explore the contents of this table in more detail. For now, take the time to use the image below to consolidate what you've learned so far. Okay. So this is the table, right? There are four. This one, comment full 2015-10 and stories. Each of the table has um, uh, row and column, and all of the four table is inside the Hacker News um, uh, kind of repository, right? So Hacker News is a data set. A data set is a collection of table, and then a BigQuery public data is a project. Um, so a project is a collection of data set. Okay, and then a data set is a collection of table, and then a client objects the projects, hold projects. Okay, so this is like the person is holding a project, and every project has a data set. One of the data sets is called Hacker News, and every data set contains tables. Okay, got it. And inside the table, there are rows and columns. Okay, okay, okay. I think I got that one. Um, so now the structure of the table is called a schema. The structure of the table. So these are table, these are table, these are table, these are table. The structure, probably the rows and columns, the number of rows and columns, and how it's being like laid out is called schema. Okay. We need to understand the table schema to effectively pull out the data we want. Okay, so this is just about extracting the data from the table, basically, and then who is the owner of the table? Is it uh, owner is a client, right? But that's not so fast because you want to compile all of the tables into or a data set into a project and then a project into um, sorry, a data set first, and then from a data set to a project or a compilation of tables, and then that schema, and then okay. We need to understand the table schema to effectively pull out. Okay, in this example, we investigate the full table that we fetch above. So you want to print out all the column in the full table in the Hacker News dataset table schema. So like from what we understand, these are tables. So we have four table, comments table, full 2015-10, and stories table. And then want to print out the schema. So this is probably the first one. There are by score time, timestamp, title, type. Okay. Hmm. Okay. I'm not sure how I read that. So each schema field tell us about specific column which also referred to as a field in order to confirm it, in, in order the information is. Oh, so this is schema field. It tells the column. So there's this column. Okay, one, two, three. The name of the column, the field type. So the name of the column is by. The field type is the data type in the column, which is a string, and then the mode, which is nullable. Nullable means that the column allows null values. Okay, like null values means like kind of blank or zero is the default. A description of the data in that column. Okay, so the username of the item. This is okay, interesting. So the first field has the schema field by string nullable, the username items. This one, the first field. This one is the first one. This tells us the field is called by column. The data in this field is a string. Null values are allowed, nullable, and contains the username corresponding to each item's author. Okay. We can use list rows method to check just the first 5 lines of the full table to make sure this is right. List rows. Sometimes databases have outdated descriptions, so it's good to check. This returns a BigQuery row iterator object that can quickly be converted to a pandas data frame with the to data frame method. The first 5 lines of the full table. List rows. Hmm. Okay, so clean client list rows table maximum result file to data frame. Okay, interesting. So you are asking basically a 5 row. So you got 5 rows, one, two, three, four, five, um, into a data frame. Okay, the first 5 lines of the full table. Hmm, interesting. The list rows method will also let us look at just the information in a specific column. If we want to see the first 5 entries in the by column, for example, we can do that. Okay, just in the by column, list rows table, selected fields, table schema, just one, maximum result 5 to data frame. It's Kaggle you can use 5 terabyte every 30 days for free. The comments you've seen so far won't demand a meaningful fraction of that limit, but okay, okay. So that was a short um, query about how to. I wonder if this is like from here, the comment. This one. No, from here, full. Where do you get this from? Oh, this one. Okay. 7 of 14 column. How do I get the other 14? Hmm. It's only giving me 7. Okay. I wonder why it can't get the full one. Not sure. How does it know? Like, because you just put client dot list rows table max result one two data frame. Because there are four data set or four table, right? Right. There are four tables. Yeah. Um, Print information all of all the column in the full table. Okay, in the hackerness data set. Okay, how does it know to print on the full table? Hmm, how does it know that? Why not getting it from the full 2015-10? Oh, okay, got it. Because we already set it up over here. Okay, 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 okay. This one, the table reference is pointing to the full. Okay, so you pointed table full data set reference dot table, and then you're pointing the API request to that table reference to the full. Okay, okay, interesting. All right, thank you for listening. I'll see you next time.